The movie is called Bleed for This, and if you want to know why it's called that and what it's all about, then don't go anywhere. You know, so many people in Rhode Island think they know the Vinny Paz story, and you know what? He's been pretty transparent. He wears his life on his sleeve and on his boxing gloves, for heaven's sake. But we're going to learn a little bit more about what Vinny Paz is all about with this brand new movie, Bleed for This, which will be released maybe this year, maybe early next year. You may remember back in December, we previewed an opportunity for you to be an extra in the crowd at the Dunk, and I hope that many of you showed up for that one-time 15-minute of fame or 15-second of fame slice of excitement type of thing. We're recording this show, though, on that day as an opportunity. Listen, these guys are busy, and I have an opportunity to have an extended conversation with them about life and times and making movies. I took advantage of it. So we are sans the rundown tonight on this holiday. I hope you've enjoyed your 3-day weekend and have made some reflections on what Martin Luther King Jr. night and day is all about. And we'll be back for a rundown tomorrow. So let me just, with no further ado, remind you what we're talking about here.
Dr. Carter had a tear in his eye, and he said, "Son, I'm sorry to say you're not going to box again." I said, "No, Dr. Carter, you're wrong. I am going to box again." I said, "You don't understand what kind of man I am."
Nothing is going to stand in Vinny's way. I'm going to get there. Ma, if it kills me, no matter how I try, what happens? I'm going to get there. I'm going to do it.
So there you have it. He needs no introduction. Vinny Paz is with us. Good to see you, my friend.
Nice to see you.
know,
Nice to be here,
This
Dan.
is a very
Of
big
course.
Sunday. And Bruce Cohen is an award-winning, Oscar-winning producer with a movie list that I'll talk to you about as we go. But thanks for coming in. It
Absolutely.
is a pleasure
To
to
be
have
here,
you
Dan.
aboard. I hope your extras project went well in December.
Us too.
As
I'm sure it did. I'm sure it did.
I'm sure it did. We taped this, but you got the whole thing. We do that from time to time.
Dan, I'm just curious.
yes.
What ring is that? Where's that college?
University of Dayton, Ohio.
Oh, wow.
You know, the Dayton Flyers.
Yeah, I got some friends
Yeah,
in
my
Dayton.
mom bought me this, and you know what? I never take it off.
That's cool.
Nobody asks about that. See, you see things that
Other people
that
don't.
others
Oh,
don't.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
all
I'm
sorts of
loaded
things.
with deep vision. Oh, yeah.
So, listen, you know, sometimes the set is kind of weird. I don't want to talk away from each of these guys. I have specific questions for each of them over the course of the show, so we'll just kind of wing it. And as you know, there's no rules here. You know, I heard you on the radio the other day, you know, talking about the movie, and you were erroneously referred to as Vinny Pazienza because you explained that this is your new name.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you something about it before you flesh out the story. So you were talking about the guy who named you. You remember the story?
Muhammad Ali.
No, Vinny Paz and the broadcaster that came
Oh,
up with it.
my God. Yes.
And who is that?
Mike Ritzay.
Who is a very close personal
I
friend
love
of mine.
Mike. Yeah.
Former news sports director in Boston. So I'm playing. We play golf together all the time.
Oh,
so
wow.
So we go down the day or two after. Got a late fall round of golf, and we're driving down to Warwick Country Club. I said, by the way, I didn't realize how instrumental you have been in a major boxer's career. He's like, what are you talking about? I said, I heard on the
That's
radio the other
awesome.
day that you named Vinny Paz. I'm sorry. Actually, it was the
Tasmanian
Tasmanian
Devil.
Devil.
Yeah,
You know
he
what?
named the
You know what?
Tasmanian
It's been a
Devil.
long day. It's not that he named you Vinny Paz. You changed that. He called you the
Yeah.
Tasmanian Devil. That's why
Yeah.
you just looked at me like I got two heads.
Yeah.
And Bruce, I deserve that.
But I didn't know the story.
Would you
so I
like to
was
take
just-
over from here because I've screwed this entire thing up? No, Mike Rattay named you the Tasmanian Devil.
Yeah.
Can we start the show again? We don't do that. Tell me that story.
Dan, I came home. Bruce is a great story. I come home and my mother says, Vinny, I taped so much stuff. They got so much good stuff on you. He said, wow, you're going to be impressed. I taped everything. My mother would stay home and tape everything on VHSs. When they died, when my parents died, I went back to the house. In one room, I went in one room, there was like 20 suitcases full of VHS DVDs, which is how I made my Headstrong DVD now, which I will get you one. You've seen it.
Yep.
Okay.
Some of these clips are on it right now, but my Headstrong DVD on VinnyPaz.com, Vinny with a Y, VinnyPaz.com, my Headstrong DVD is the best. But
Tasmanian Devil.
I come home and my mother just don't know what to show me first. And she says to me, she said, Vinny, she said, one thing I'm really surprised at, you know, you're friends with Mike Rattay. He said, he called you by wrong, he said your name wrong. I said, Ma, I'm with Mike all the time. What are you talking about? And she said, no, Vinny, he called you like, I think, an Armenian name. And I said, what? She shows me the clip. And Mike Rattay goes, Vinny, the Pazmanian devil, at the time it was Pazienza. And I went, whoa, that's awesome. Bam, I'm the Pazmanian devil. That's how I got that name.
Right, so it just, I really screwed that up.
Stuck
I
like
apologize. It was a terrible walk-in. Might be the worst I've ever done. But the point is that.
I can't believe you were with Mike and told him that.
Well, Mike and I go way back. So when I told him that, he actually said, I did that? You're right, I did that. So
That's
it was
cool.
kind of a neat moment. But he called you that because
I fought like the Pazmanian devil.
because you just.
I'm a whirling dervish
Yeah.
of pain.
Well, how was your mom with it after you explained it to her? All right?
She started laughing.
All right, good.
Yeah.
All right, so that's just some of the
My
nonsense.
my mother was a smart little lady. My mother loved politics, and this is good for you to know, Bruce. I want to
We're
tell
still
you guys a
producing the
story.
movie here.
I got to
We're
tell
still
you guys
writing.
a story that I told Danielle on the way here when we were driving. My mother was sharp as a tack. Little old cute little Italian lady. You'd give it. You'd let her. You think your life was safe in her hands. She's dying on her deathbed in my house, and my sister is putting a sponge on her tongue because you know when you dehydrate, the cancer, it takes you away. It's an ugly disease. But so my mother says to her, and let me put this first, that about maybe 5 years before that, my mother calls me up and she said, Vinny, come to the house. I said, what's the matter, Ma? Your father, he's beating up David, my nephew. What do you mean? He's beating up David. He thinks he robbed him. Good. If he robbed him, good. I hang up the phone. She calls me back. Vinny, please, come to the house. Your father's beating up David. I said, why? Why, Ma? He said, well, he thinks he took money from him. He says he didn't. Will you please come here? Please come. Nah, he's a little punk. Good, let Dad beat him up. I hang up. 10 years go by, my mother's dying on her deathbed. My sister's putting a sponge on her tongue. My mom says, Doreen, come here, I want to tell you something. What, Ma? You remember when your father beat up David? Yeah. She goes, promise me you won't tell Vinny. She says, what, Ma? Promise me you won't tell Vinny. Ma, would you tell me I took the money? She took the money to go gambling. See, I had those genes in me, Bruce. See,
I don't need a lawyer for David, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. So we don't have to send this show to legal now. Okay, we got that whole thing figured out. That's great stuff.
Imagine, it's a great story.
All right, see if you can work that into the script.
Yeah,
somehow,
I know,
right?
Katie. I'm
I
going
gotta
right
tell
to tell
Katie
Katie
about
that
that.
story.
Yeah.
Right back on set.
Because you're writing and producing as we speak, correct?
We are shooting, yes. As we're taping this,
Yes,
we're still
as we're
shooting.
taping.
And actually, we have this wonderful still photographer, and she takes the photos every day on the set, and then she pulls the selects and emails them to us. And the password to get on the site every day is Pazmanian Devil. So I think about you and your nickname every day as I'm going on to watch the
crazy.
photos from
Well,
the day
hopefully
before.
we don't have anybody, breaking into your technology. All right, when we come back, more on this great project. Stay with us. Yes, he was, and everyone has chronicled his career, but we're going to learn more things in the movie Bleed for This, and that's what it's supposed to be about. But obviously, this is going to have a worldwide market, and not just us folks in Rhode Island who have kind of an intimate relationship with Vinny Paz, no doubt about it. And we have an even more intimate relationship now that we just heard that family story, which is good. That was a good one,
That was
wasn't
a
it?
really
I mean,
good
your
one.
eyes lit up over that
Yeah.
one. I think there's some producer notes
I
that are
think
going to
so.
go on there. Bruce Cohen is an Oscar-winning producer. He is in part producing this movie Bleed for This, and without having a long story, Bleed for This is not a name of the movie that you wanted originally, correct?
Correct.
Why?
I just thought they should call it Paz. I thought it would have been cool name. Spanish, it means peace. A lot of people know me. Millions of people know me. I was one of the highest viewed boxers ever, ever. And I thought it'd be a great name for the movie. And Ben Younger says, Vinny, put your ego in the shelf. Shut up. It's going to be called Bleed for This. And then bam.
He's the writer-director.
Yeah.
Now, is there a
And he's awesome, too.
Is there a concept, Bleed for This, does the movie speak to the concept?
Yes, the movie speaks to that, and actually there's even a moment in the movie where one of the characters uses that phrase so that you sort of get the thematic connection to Vinny's story, which, you know, in a nutshell was that boxing was more important to him than life, and he would rather die than not box. So he was willing to do anything for his boxing.
Well, that's true.
True. That's 1,000% true. I can remember being at the table. I remember with my mother right there like it was yesterday. She said, Vinny, you can't do this. You can't. I said, Ma, I'm going to make this happen or I'm going to die trying. And she went, oh, Vinny, don't talk like that. She almost started crying. I'm like, Ma, don't worry. I know. I think I know what I'm doing.
For a second, if I can digress, I want to get back to Vinny's story because we could go all day and all night. The role of producer. You know, I have a producer for the television show, and Jess plays a guest inventory role, and then I have producers for radio shows that kind of do the same thing. But the role of producer in a movie, I don't think everybody really understands what it is. What is it? Well,
the description I have stolen from a fellow producer, which I think is a good one, is it's actually a true fact that every single movie that's ever shot, a special business entity is formed that is solely created to make that film. It could either be an LLC or a corporation or something's formed that's making the movie. The producer is the CEO of that company, and you're really in charge of every aspect of the production, from the creative material at the beginning, the script, the hiring the director, casting, pre-production, the budgeting, the schedule, shooting, and then in post-production, it's the editing, the music, the marketing, the distribution, the getting it out into the world. So it's the whole journey the film takes from his life to, you know, once we get it out into the theaters.
Martin Scorsese's involved as the executive producer, so what are the distinguishing roles there?
The executive producer can mean different things on different films. The producer is the person or people who are actually doing everything that I just talked about day to day. And then executive producers, sometimes it can be people who put some money into the film. In Marty's case, it's someone who, Marty read the script, he loved the script, he wanted to be a part of it, he helped it come together. Emma Tillinger-Koskov, who's his producing partner, is one of the producers. So Marty really helped put the whole thing together and make it happen. So he's an executive producer.
Okay, it's a fascinating. It's a hell of a business, huh?
It's a really exciting business. It's a really hard business. I think people don't realize until you're on the set, how much work goes into it and how many different people in different departments it takes to pull something together. But to be able to make something that people respond to, you know, it's the best thing in the world.
Yeah, you're gonna laugh. I played a small role in a homegrown movie here in Providence called Hope High School, I don't know, 10 years ago. And even that very, very low budget film was hard to get a scene out. It took us all day to get a scene out. And for real actors who have to keep their disposition through cut, splice, wait a second, move, check, move that, the art is incredible. It just is. And I don't think everyday people who watch movies really understand how much toil goes in behind these things.
Yep, absolutely.
Multi-million-dollar projects. How big is this one?
This is actually a relatively small. It's an independent film. It was self-financed by a financier, so it wasn't a big studio production. So we're lean and mean. We shot it in 26 days, and as Vinny knows, because we moved fast on this one. You know, it was not a lot of sitting around and waiting because we just didn't have the time.
But not having it be a multi-million-dollar extravaganza does not necessarily bode for how it will be received out there, correct?
Absolutely true. And nowadays, most of the really great dramas, the award-winning films every year, a lot of the Oscar contenders are these smaller budget movies because that's the material it's not a comic book or a sequel or some big action hero you've heard of, but it's stories that really that people want to see and that mean something. So you make it for less money, but hopefully you make something really beautiful and lasting.
And when you're telling the story about somebody's life, there's a real chance it's going to be a winner.
Certainly in the past, there's been a lot of great movies that come from real stories. But it's also it's you feel an obligation. You know, I know Ben Younger, the writer director, and all the cast. You know, Miles Teller. It's so important to him that he does right by Vinny and makes Vinny proud, and you know it's really you really have something to shoot for, because someone has entrusted their story, Vinny's journey. He gave that to us, let us try and make it. So we're hoping we're going to do something he's really going to love.
All right.
Looks awesome.
So far.
Yeah,
All
looks
right.
awesome.
More when we come back. Stay with us. And there is the star. He actually, you know, pretty close resemblance, don't you think? You're happy with that? Not that you really had anything to say about it, right? Or
Every
you
time
did?
I look at him, I smile and just said, "That's me." It's weird. I smile. Every time I see him, I smile. It's me.
So you feel good about it. Your career and your world championships and your ups and your downs and your injuries and your skirmishes with the law and all this stuff have all been literally right here on your sleeve.
Yeah.
You hide nothing.
Yeah.
You make no excuses. What is this project doing to you in terms of, if it at all, kind of right sizing where you want to be? This is something you've wanted for a long time, right? Does it soothe you in send you into another place of calm? Because we're always getting a story that your next day you're apologizing, going, I should, blah, blah, blah. What's it doing for you?
It's only because Rhode Island's so small,
I know.
and the spotlight's on
You
me
get
all
away
the
with
time.
nothing.
Everywhere I go, eyes are on me all the time, and you know, it's.
And what happens in
a
a
lot-
tavern, and what's reported out, is not necessarily
No.
what really happens. Blah blah blah. Right?
Yeah.
But you've admitted that you've.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I've done, in all things all related to alcohol. You know, I got 15 DUIs because alcohol. You know, I got all these skirmishes. Not 15. Damn,
No.
come on, I'm 3.
I was going to let you go.
I got
You
th-
said it. I didn't.
I got 3 over 15 years. Not bad. 1 every 5 years.
That's,
but
well.
it's not good. Not good.
Yeah.
And
People don't laugh about that.
No, absolutely. I make it well known, and I do it on purposely. Well known. Buckle up and don't drink and drive like an idiot like I did.
So let me ask you this, because I'll get all sorts of mail in response for not having the guts to ask you this question. A lot of folks would say that you need this project, financially and otherwise. That you've been jammed up.
Everybody needs a movie about themselves. Are you kidding me?
But are you in tough financial shape? Are you okay?
I've been in tough financial shape since the year 2000.
Because
Because I'm crazy and I'm a little wild and I live life on the edge. That's why I live life on the edge. I wouldn't have came back from a broken neck. That's the bottom line, and it's truth.
will this movie put that in better shape?
Yeah, well, see, with age, you know, are
you getting enough?
I just
are you getting
turned.
enough
I
with
just
this
turned 42, Bruce.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Are you getting enough with this project to
Yeah,
fix all that?
absolutely.
All
Yeah,
right.
absolutely. And way more important to me, if you really knew me, Dan, you'd know, because I really don't give a rat's ass about money. You know, life's not about money, but it is, and you need it, and you have to have it. But you know, I live my life on the wild side, and this run around is going to be a little different. You know, I'll do things a little differently. That's all. But I'm still me. You know, you can change your clothes, you change your hairdo, change the color of your skin. You can't change what's behind that, and that don't change.
You know, as he talks, you must be just taking mental notes. It seems like he's. I don't want to talk about you in front of you, but it's an ongoing process hanging around with this guy, right? Perspective, discussion. You're probably, as you're watching him talk, thinking about the movie and whether it's capturing it all.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting because we actually have been talking about that, Ben Younger and the other producers and the creative team, that we're only telling this one very specific time in Vinny's life, and our movie ends in 1991. But as we make the movie now, it's 2015, and we know him, and we have the whole story of a much more complete life, a much longer life, and a lot of stuff that's happened. And so we do want to, we want all of Paz sort of infused in the story we're telling, so that it does have some of the larger.
Yeah, but I can hear his wheels turning already as you just set him up for him asking for the sequel already, right?
Hey, worse things
isn't that
can
where you were
happen,
thinking? Right? I mean, you've been looking for a movie for a long time. He just set you up for the sequel already.
Part 2. Part 2.
Yeah.
Bleed for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Part 2, bleed for that.
yeah. You know what? Haven't you learned? You can't name your own movies.
I know.
You're not allowed to.
I noticed.
Hey, look, we're at Rocky 12's coming
Yeah,
out, so
right?
you know.
Exactly. Honor and pleasure to meet you.
Thank
Best
you.
of luck on this, and congratulations on everything that you have done. And you,
Awesome. Finally.
just keep going.
Finally.
Will you? And
Invite me back.
you know what? You can come back anytime. You know what? People love to see you. Final thought. What does this whole thing mean to you?
It means that that I can't believe I'm finally gonna inspire millions of people around the world, and that's really about as good as it gets for me.
Good stuff. Final word when we come back. Stay with us. You know, in Rhode Island, we complain a lot about a lot of things, but we have some great personalities. There's no doubt about that. And Vinnie Paz is certainly at the top of that list. And I think all of us are just going to look with tremendous anticipation at the opening night, and everyone will be racing into theaters to see this project. And I know I'll be one of them. Your state of mind, I'm sure you'll have a reaction to what you just saw. Let us know what you think about Vinnie and the family story. Oh. Dave, it's, I didn't, 228-1886, email me at stateofmind@myiritv.com, Facebook, or tweet at me. You know how that social media thing works. We'll see you on the radio tomorrow at noon on WPRO, and take your phone calls. And be right back here at 7:30, 11:30. And if you missed the show, foxprovidence.com.